So we get here. Spider guard is where we put our feet on their biceps closer to their elbow joint. How we get there? Lots of ways, but we're just gonna go through like a basic little opening, move your hips and slide your feet in, right? So we open up, we can put our foot on the ground, or if you don't need to, you move your hips. You get one knee up, the other foot goes into his hip. It's important that we do that. We didn't cover this the other day, but if we don't do that, Matt can just push down my leg and pass. So we put control, we got points of contact. Feet are in his hips, we're in a good spot here. I'm gonna bring this foot up, and I can put it here. And I can start to just push and pull, right? Matt doesn't like that because it's extending his arm. And we went into pushing and extending. We also went into getting both sides. And we did a little sweep, which is really basic, and it should not, I didn't say this today, but a lot of times this might not be a very successful sweep because if a person has a decent amount of base, they can base out on this. But if you just lean to the side, they'll fall, come back up. And if you find yourself in this scenario where you've got them lean to the side, you can take your foot and kind of push. Today, we're gonna go into more of a more, I don't wanna say successful, but more used. What we can do is, we're gonna push him, right? We're gonna do the same thing, we're pushing. When we're doing this, we're turning his shoulders. When we turn his shoulders, he's off base, he's lean, right? So instead of us just pushing it that way, we're gonna push across. We're just gonna drop this foot either to his hip, but a really good one is to drop it to the ground right outside his leg. You can drop it here. A very agile opponent will try to get their foot or their knee over your leg or trap it in some fashion. I can leave it here and let my foot rest on his leg so it's not going anywhere. Now here's the key to this. It's the detail I missed for a long time and people need to pay attention to. I need to look at my watch, my invisible watch on my wrist. Okay? And I need to check the time. So I need to look at that. And we sit here and we go. Right? In real time, it's gonna look like this. Boom, boom. Come up, use your head to post. Or if you fall over, you can let go. I'm a fan of holding on to my grips. Okay? Here. Why am I not getting it? Why is it not working? I'm not looking at my wrist. I'm not pulling away, turning him over. You notice when I do it really slow, my coming up on top of him is kind of wonky and awkward. I don't have that momentum. I don't have that energy to ride up with and then use my own body to come up on top. It's just really kind of boom, right? But when you go quickly, it can happen. So, a lot of opportunities. Okay, any questions? All right, I'm gonna get your parts, give a shot. 1, 2, 3. What's your name, buddy?
What's your name?
There you go.
Jason. Who's working for you?
Who's the training partner? Huh?
First name's okay. So you're gonna hop down to the bottom position. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to make thumb in.
You can tell
Pull my thumb out.
never hits the strike.
Past his threaded here. Make a good cup. You don't want to turn your hand. Come over your back. If you watch this, roll him up. So now, I can actually control his arms. So now I'm going to spread out with this.
But don't bring my stomping them up.
Oh yeah, that's what they
This is always
taught you to stomp biceps.
Yeah.
This is outside.
I just know it doesn't feel good when it happens.
So now we want to put
It's a learned behavior.
one foot at a time. Boom, boom. Drop it. Now we're pretty much about in the same position that we were when we started pushing. So now we can push, pull.
So one leg's gonna drop to the
The other leg,
thigh,
I might
knee,
extend him out.
whichever. And I like to start leaning into there, lace my foot into their leg. Yeah, it's crazy. As you turn, torso. I guess that would be torso. See how your watch all the way up? Kind of here, and your elbow is bent. When you do it, you want to fucking focus now. So it's the hardest thing in watch. It takes a long time for me to learn to master that. I had to trust the fact that I could turn my head.
Once we can push it,
That's the only thing I got to look at you, but I need to look away to make that arm good. If I don't, it's that. You know what? If you try to take 3 times, you want to see push your leg on the other side. Don't let her do it. Extend the other side. Or if you stop your hand up on your hand back, then you know you're not going to position your arm.
because I want to finish it and then rip that out all in here.
Look away, TK, all the way. There you go. I was telling them the hardest thing for me to learn was this.
1 foot at a time.
We were just doesn't do anything yet.
You can if somebody doesn't have any kind of base with it. Right. But the second, I had to trust. It's a trusting thing. I'm not going to look away because I'm well. So I have to.
But you're right, the faster you move that, you'll
More momentum and you come up nice and smooth.
Garrett, Deegan needs a partner.
One don't.
Pull yourself up.
And I need to. So whenever
We have a wife.
This week we don't want to be entangled with the leg. A couple days.
I just like this because now I can take my time.
Look at me. Bring your wrist and elbow back.
Push.
There wasn't any.
I'm glad I have to do that. I was going to do it either way.
He did say he was coming. Moisture come out and chase him off. Oh. All right, guys. So there are some options here that we can use once we get into the spider guard. And let's say we're here and we have this situation, and you don't quite have the pull and the look, and he's you can tell he's basing, like his hips get low, he sits. He's like, oh no, now we're not going to be able to lift him. We couldn't lift him. We can try to push him. If we instead of pull him this way and he sits, we can try to come up on our elbow and push. And maybe we can get that. But if Matt flares his knee out and he bases, yes, he stopped this. So what do we do here? We have options. We have two really. The first one that we can do is we can bring our knees up and our hips up, and we can start to press on his arm, creating an arm bar that bends to an omoplata. We'll come back. If you can catch this arm here, you can begin to bend it and get the tap. Hold this here. Keep it from turning. But notice he turns it. Right? My hips come up, my knee comes in, he turns his arm. This turns into what we know as an omoplata. For those of you who are newer, don't worry about coming into all of this. But if you know it, you can utilize it. The other option that we have is here he bases, he doesn't let me get it. The most, I use this one the most, which is pretty simple. Pull it right into triangle. Notice I never let go. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this arm over. He grabs it because he loves me. And I help him. Here. I go for this, he stops me. Boom, it's not happening. It's not happening. I can try that arm bar. Maybe not, maybe so. But the fun one is this, let that foot slide. Pit of the knee. We lock it up. We have this. You let that go if you want. You get your finish. Okay? Let's work on that, get to those positions. We'll go from there on 3. 1, 2, 3. If you know the omoplata, if you know the arm bar, if you know the triangle, give it a shot. If you don't, just get a good position. So go from what you were doing. Point that foot. Switch my arm. Come over. Turn towards me. If he doesn't do it, so we're going to do this. We're going to now let that foot slide up. Let it slide, slide. And pull him to you here, locking that. And then you can either lock your ankles or go in a triangle if you know what that is, right? And now you've got a good control. At this point, if you wanted to, you can take this arm and go under that arm. So let go. Scoop underneath it, pull it to you. That creates an arm bar of itself. You can scoop that arm as well. At the very least, my man, you've got a very good control of this, right?
I always grab my shins because my knees are strong, so I feel like that's insurance. I do the same thing.
So when you do that arm bar on that one, it's going to be a that open guard arm bar is tough unless you're like super strong compared to your training partner. So go back to that. I'll show you. But if I'm rolling with anybody and I actually making that arm bar my go-to, right? And I get here, I'll throw that knee up high and bring that knee up to like the shoulder. So like you're this one for here. And use this hand and you can use this hand tight to it. I would actually just take both hands to the wrist and start pushing this up. Quick. So you can't dally with that. There's no holding control. Yeah, and it's turn myself. That creates that. Panic tap is from each other. So I don't really use a lot of training. Pull yourself down. Yeah. Turning into an angle. Walk from this foot. Absolutely. It's going to be a good show.
Pretty gorgeous.
So
I have an injured foot. It's a very You're in too short.
Right, they did. So we're here, right?
even right there, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a way from you, but it's not the tool. It's like you're not hold those grips. Yeah, that's an option. I know you gotta work on it. Sorry. People do that. You can work that leg out. Right. Yeah. fast, right? It has to, because you have so much opportunity to get away. You can turn it without it. You can catch the thumb up, just here, crossing that there, and then straight it. See what I'm saying? If they flip it over, I don't just like, I was, all you just had to do is just slide it over. Actually, I don't really do.
Yeah. I like that. Like you said, the triangle. That's all. The triangle. Right. Give us that. Turn your thumb down. No, no, no. That's power out of my legs.
How was that neck around that
Rolling is weird because I don't feel like I'm at risk.
Yeah.
You feel like you're on right here.
And granted, you could drive for me, but I'm just going to show you down. You know, like people who
How was that
He's referring to the video. They don't know that you're already sitting already.
All right, everybody. So, depending on how your training partner reacts, there's some things you can do here. I was noticing that Matt and Andrew were here. He was working with this, and he lifted his leg up, right? So we're here. If they lift their leg up, you can hook it, maybe elevate them, and get the sweep, right? You do find yourself in a less momentum situation where you're going to have to fight to come up. But sometimes by bringing your foot in, sit up, notice I maintain control. Is it easy for you to sit up from here? No, right? And I can start to build myself up to this position, just by a foot position. Right? Keep it in here, lace my leg under my other, thread the needle if you will, and I can turn in, come up with pressure. All right? And we're here. So if they stand up, and you're in this position, you're going to stand up, I would definitely say, if you're just starting out, a good thing to do would be to put a foot on the hip. Because this keeps his hips from coming forward. The escape to this is for him to step forward, walk and step your hips forward, and get both knees on either side of my legs, compress, and then press my legs down. Now I don't have leverage on it, right? Come back. Yes. Yep. Now if I do this, now go ahead and step forward and do that. And we can alternate, we can rotate him. We can do all kinds of crazy things. Come back the other way, depending on how their momentum is going, which way they're fighting. You can change position, right? Also, same thing applies. The triangle is here. You just have to elevate your hips. Obviously my hips are low in this position. If Matt leans in and he's trying to put pressure on me, that's actually good. Because this pressure, he's not going to be able to stop it right away, right? So if I let go, he falls forward. If I push him and he's really trying to get close, hips off the mat, we shoot to the triangle. Right? So we're there. Okay? Also, notice that I can create some pressure. These are just added little points. How do I get his foot, his arm to turn down? If I just simply go like that, it doesn't really do it. If I curl my toes and kind of point my foot up and let my hips sit up like we did last week, remember we learned that in controlling him, it makes him bear my weight. He's holding my lower body on that arm, right? Couple that with an arm bar positioning, he's got to react. Notice he goes down.
You can't see Friedel now, watch out. You can't see Friedel now. What? Watch out
Break
with
it
that elbow.
loose. So we're here. Now we can go into different things, guys. These are just tips and hits for the spider guard. So we're up. Matt's here. Matt stands up. I immediately put a foot in the hip and turn his shoulders. Bending my elbow, creating tension. I don't want him doing this. I point my toes down and I make him carry my weight. Notice this puts me in a good armbar position. He might want to turn that to get that away. As he comes into me, I can still throw the triangle. I can get here. Right. We're here. Maybe you've got this position, right? You can go straight to the spider guard. You can start pressing, right? Be careful. Remember, we don't want this, because in this position, he's going to come in, he's going to collapse. It's going to be tough, right? You're in a bad spot there. So you can start doing this type of thing, going into our lassos like we did last week, all that good stuff. He's on his feet, I put a foot in his hip. All right, and we're here. So, there's way more to it than just this. There's some opportunities, and we won't go into all of them. Maybe we'll do some more in the coming weeks. But a lot of things you can do from spider guard, guys. A lot you can do. You can come up, make him bear that weight, pull him in, you can start taking him back. You set up a lot of things. And so, there's some dynamic sweeps. If you're not very flexible, when he goes to pass around, you can invert, sweep people. It's some cool things, especially if you enjoy that kind of game and extending them and keeping them away from you. All right, guys. On three, let's stand up, bow out, and do some rolling. 1, 2, 3.